Now, I can't guarantee you this is going to win, obviously, but there's a lineup you're about to see in this video that I thoroughly believe could be the key to unlocking unique builds within very chalky games. We're going to talk about it for week 14. You're watching The Perfect Lineup, where Josh Engleman and myself, Dave Loughran, look to take down a tournament with one of the beauties we build in this here video. As always, I'll lay the foundation, build the core out, send it over to Josh in the single lineup sims, and see exactly how it does. See if it's something that we want to play, whether it's that build exactly or just an iteration off of it. And as always, if you guys love this content, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that hype button along the way. I'm told it's good for us. And no, I did not forget about that free month of NFL Sims Max that we give away every single Friday on this video. Let me know who you think is going to have the most receiving yards on this slate. It always seems easy, right? Doesn't it? It always seems like, the chalk can't fail. Well, if you pick JSN or Puka Nacua last week, no. Most people would probably have struggled with it last week. If you get it right, though, a month of the Sims could be coming your way. Now, let's get into the lineups. All right, so for this first build, I'm going to go not contrarian at all. I'm actually going to stay pretty conservative. But the great thing about the single lineup sims is that you can adjust the randomness, which means that if we take a chalky core and then we apply heavy randomness, we can fill it out with a more contrarian type build. So it'll be a bunch of chalk, but then a few spots that are giving us leverage, providing spots that good players, maybe not in great matchups, that could get you over the hump to win a tournament. Just look at the Millie makers this year. I mean, we had a Stokastic subscriber just 2 weeks ago with a Jacoby Brissett triple stack take down the Millie. And really, the only couple differences, one of them was Teteroa McMillan at very low ownership. You see this all too often where one or two leverage spots makes the biggest difference. So in this case, let's go with Josh Allen and let's pair him with the Jamar Chase run back. Now, right now, the projections have Dalton Kincaid out. We don't know. It's Friday afternoon. If by the time you're watching this, he's in, well, then don't play Dawson Knox like I'm going to do right now and swap him to Kincaid. Sure, you'll have to make some sacrifices at the other parts of your lineup, but Kincaid will be a great play against the Bengals team that simply cannot stop opposing tight ends. Primary weakness, no doubt about it, and I don't see him slowing him down this week. But even if they do with Dawson Knox and he's just a pedestrian performer, he's $2,800, assuming he starts, and he's going to be out there for the majority of the game with a 54.5 point total. Now, another thing to consider, it's going to be cold, might be a little bit of snow, but the total is still sitting at 54.5. Until further notice, if that doesn't move, zero reason that we should back off of this game unless the total starts to drop significantly, in which case we may reevaluate. But what we're going to do here, we're going to run this on 20% randomness because the Allen, Chase, and Knox build, look, that's going to be chalky. I also want to throw Bucky Irving in here because, well, I want to talk to you about him. And the reason I want to talk about him is, well, Todd Bowles said he was going to ease him into action after being sidelined for 2 straight months, missing, I think, 8 games. What happened? Well, he got 17 carries and Rachaad White and Tucker got a combined 4. Now you're at home as 8.5 point favorites. Baker Mayfield still dealing with a bit of a shoulder issue. I think you could see a massive game for Bucky Irving, both utilized on the ground and through the air at a reasonable price point. Let's just hope Tristan Wirfs is out there because this will be the first time all year that Bucky Irving has a fully healthy offensive line since he's played.
Back for another perfect lineup in the single lineup sim, and Loughy has just set us up with pretty much exactly where I would want to go to start. Josh Allen in at the quarterback spot, already heavily owned. I don't care. Dawson Knox in as the pass catcher. So I love getting a little bit of lighter ownership with that pairing. You get Jamar Chase on the opposite side. That all makes perfect sense to me. Bucky Irving goes in at 15% owned. I love that as well. But Loughy's aware that we're taking on some ownership here. So 20% randomness is really going to give us a unique setup for what we have here. $24,300 still left. All I got to do is click complete this lineup, and we're going to get it all filled out for whatever we have remaining. Then we'll evaluate it. And the randomness took us straight to Buffalo. James Cook goes in, 23% owned. Egbuka goes in, which I like. We pair up with him and Bucky Irving. Brandon Cooks goes in, so we've got another bill. That's fun. AJ Barner goes in, so we're doing the double tight ends. And then we get the Browns D, 134 projection, 128 ownership. Let's see what lineup number 1 looks like. Not too bad. 65% sim ROI, 0.2% chance to win, 40% cash rate. I love this lineup, and I'm going to save it right out of the gate. I'm going to back out of it. I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to step back in because 20% randomness means we could do this one again and get a completely different lineup. So let's check out lineup number 1, round 2. And there we go, a completely different lineup. We get Kenneth Walker in, we get Chris Olave, Pat Bryant, Brock Bowers, Commanders D. We're all over the map now. 135.8 projection, 122 ownership. We actually went up in projection and down in ownership, just one set of randomness. And I think we made a better lineup for DFS purposes. We sure did. 97.6% sim ROI, 0.3% chance to win, 43% cash rate. We could do this a couple more times and build out a really nice package of lineups. But instead, I'm going to wait to see what Loughy cooks up for lineup number 2.
Lineup number 2, let's get into it. Not a crazy one, but I think a great bounce back spot after a brutal week. Not brutal week on the scoreboard, but in the box score for the Seattle Seahawks. Now, if you guys want to use these tools for yourself, you see us using them, you say, man, they look pretty fun. I wonder if they work. Well, ask Jay Snides, because this dude last Sunday on the week 13 main slate used the single lineup sim to take down $60,000. And the crazy part is he hand built these in the sims and won with multiple different lineups. Now, am I saying you're going to win 60 grand this week? No, I'd be lying to you. What I am telling you is it's going to supercharge your hand building process and take you to another level. Put you on the same level as people who are using other tools and data. Whereas when you're hand building, oftentimes you don't really have a great understanding of ownership and projections and leverage spots. You may go way too chalky, or you may go way too contrarian with a terribly projected lineup, but the sims do the work for you. You can optimize it and build the rest out, or you can play around with it however you want for whatever contest structure. And the link is down below if you guys want to check them out for a week or a month yourself. Use the core package because that's the one you're looking for. So back to the Seattle stack. We're talking about Sam Darnold here, and of course we're putting in Jackson Smith-Njigba. I think we throw A.J. Barner in there for 2 reasons. One, well, he's actually been involved enough lately to where I think he makes a little bit of sense. He's going to play 80+% of snaps. Rookie tight end Elijah Arroyo hasn't seen all that much work lately. And the great thing about this is because the tight end position doesn't look great this week, and trust me, it does not look great this week. You have McBride, but he's $8,000 in a very difficult spot against the Rams, who are probably looking to wipe that stink off their face following a loss in Carolina to the Panthers, where they were double-digit favorites. You have Brock Bowers against Denver. They held him to 1 reception last game a few weeks ago, and Patrick Surtain wasn't even out there. You know what happened last year in their second meeting with Brock Bowers and the Broncos? Patrick Surtain shadowed him. I don't love that spot. Tyler Warren looks good at $5K, but once you get past that, you're dealing with a lot of ugly-looking options. So why not just use the tight end position this week as a stack attachment to your quarterback, right? I mean, the same way we're doing with Dawson Knox. Is he a great play? Well, it's a great matchup, assuming he starts, but he's not great, but it doesn't really matter because if you're looking for a stack attachment on a team like Buffalo that spreads the ball around and typically doesn't play big favorites, why not just go to him at $2,800 and free up cap space for good players elsewhere? I see it similarly in Seattle because outside of Jackson Smith-Njigba in the passing game, who can you rely on? Cooper Kupp, Rashid Shaheed's been a ghost since that trade. Well, A.J. Barner is the cheapest one of the bunch, and we're going to plug him in there. We're going to run this one at 10% randomness as well, simply because people aren't going to be full fading Seattle just because they underwhelmed last week. Look, they scored 26 points, but they were held to like under 200 yards of total offense because, well, Max Brosmer just put them in very favorable positions, and they didn't need to do much. I know Atlanta is kind of an odd team and an anomalous team to some extent. You never know what's going to happen with them. But at home, they may be able to push it a little bit here with Bijan and company, although it looks like Drake London is out. Fact of the matter is that this could be a game where Sam Darnold once again does have to open it up. And when that happens, the connection with JSN and one more attachment usually comes through big.
All right, here we go. Next one up, and this is just straight up Seattle, but relatively low owned Sam Darnold at 5%. Jackson Smith-Njigba only 14% owned, probably has something to do with that 9K tag. And then A.J. Barner, so the double stack, just 9% owned, 3,200. I love everything we have so far. 10% randomness this time. So we're already like relatively unique with this stack, so we don't have to get too different everywhere else. Let's see how this lineup compares to the first two that we have so far. We add on a little bit more Seattle. Aaron Jones goes in at 18% owned. We also get Kenneth Walker, so now we're up to a 3-man Seattle stack. We don't have anything on the opposite side. I don't care about that at all. Jalen Waddle goes in. We get to see Chris Olave again. Ashton Jeanty and the Raiders D. I love that running back defense correlation. 133.5 projection, 109 ownership. We've barely given up any projection, and we've taken a pretty sizable cut in ownership. My expectation here is that this lineup is well north of 100% sim ROI. This should be the best thing we have in this video. Ooh, so close. Basically like round 2 of the first one. 97.7% sim ROI, 0.2% chance to win, 39% cash rate. The first lineup we built was good. The remixed version was great. Lineup number 2 was great. I have no idea where Loughy is taking us for lineup number 3, but he is off to an incredible start.
All right, we're going to round this out with the third and final lineup for this video. Don't forget, I post a Tails exclusive perfect lineup over to Tails. It is maybe one of the favorite ones I've done all season. Why? No one's going to play it. You may look at it and say, Loughy, I'm not playing that, but I don't care, because why would I be doing this video or doing any of this if we're just giving you the straight chalk builds every single time? It's no fun. And I'm very interested in this one. I actually had it included in this video and I removed it so we could do some more analysis over there on Tails. Josh is going to post one on Saturday. I'm posting one today, Friday night. If you're not on Tails, link is in the description. Just click that, follow Josh, follow me, turn on your notifications. All my bets are free all year long. Yeah, we just hit this last night too. Little 6-1 Jahmyr Gibbs 70-yard receiving ladder. We have fun over there. And now comments are open to the public, so you can comment and we can go back and forth and take the conversation off of YouTube. It's a great platform. Check the leaderboards out, see who's winning, see who you should follow, and of course, download the app. Anyway, I'll get to that one later. But for this one, we're going to take, I mentioned this in the intro, we're going to take the most popular, most chalky game, and we're going to flip it on its head. How are we going to do that? I'll tell you right now. I think Josh will find this interesting when he gets to the Sims. We're going to go with a Joe Burrow stack, but that's not necessarily contrarian enough, right? We're going to skinny stack him with Jamar Chase. All right, once again, people are going to do that. But here's the difference. We're going to run it back with a double bills, okay? And the double bills are going to be James Cook and Khalil Shakir. We're going to run it at 0% randomness. Why do we do this? Well, think of it like this. What could be kind of the catalyst or the reason that Josh Allen doesn't have a great game? Well, it could just be that James Cook goes off. But in a game with that high of a total, usually there's some type of pass catcher that comes along for the ride as well. So give me Khalil Shakir. Has he underwhelmed? Sure. Is he still the highest upside guy there? Absolutely. If Kincaid ends up playing, I'm perfectly happy swapping Shakir for Kincaid, but I don't want it to be Knox in this situation. If I'm running it back with a double here, I'd like it to be Shakir or Kincaid if he's active. But now what happens is you get this skinny with Jamar Chase, who's a target monster, and in my opinion, the best receiver in football. I understand JSN, Pook, those guys are great. Don't get me wrong. But Jamar Chase has done it with Joe Flacco and Jake Browning this year, no? Anyway, run it back with James Cook and Shakir. So Josh Allen can have an okay game, but what if Shakir is the only one that does anything significant? Josh Allen doesn't rush any in, and James Cook ends up getting those big yardage plays and the touchdowns towards the goal line, or simply just breakaway runs, which he does all the time. So you're talking a skinny Burrow stack instead of the very chalky Allen, and then running it back with 2 bills. I think, while it's not that no one's going to do this, I think it's a very interesting way to get unique on the chalkiest game of the week and still get exposure in multiple spots to the same game where other people aren't going to be thinking about a double run back on a skinny. Let's see how it does.
Now, I am pretty excited for this setup. Loughy's taking us in a really fun direction because this Buffalo-Cincy game looks great, but to try to be a little bit more unique, to not have Josh Allen and then go to Joe Burrow instead at just 5% owned, still getting parts of Buffalo, a chalky James Cook, but not a chalky Khalil Shakir. No reason he can't score a touchdown. And then obviously you want to pair Chase with Burrow, but this takes us into this game in a more unique manner. We're getting popular items, but not in the same way that you would get if you just tried to like optimize for Bengals Bills. You'd end up seeing Allen. No randomness here. We're going to just take whatever's best. And I like that. Because of Burrow, because of Shakir, we don't need to eat too much more chalk. We're certainly going to get some of it, but we're already different enough. This is a really creative build from Loughy. We got to see how it finishes off. Aaron Jones, Adonai Mitchell, Dawson Knox. So a third bill. This is a massive game stack now. Josh Jacobs in at the flex. Jets D closes it out. $200 of remaining salary. 136.9 projection. I should point out, that's the highest projection we have so far. 141 ownership is also the highest ownership number we have. I want to do two things. Maybe I don't have to do the second one. We're going to run this lineup first to see how it grades out. If it's lower than we expect, I think we can turn Josh Jacobs into something better from an ownership perspective, but it might not matter. 88.7 sim ROI, 0.2% chance to win, 45% cash rate. Every single thing that Loughy has cooked up so far has been awesome for the main slate. I can't help myself here. I want to tinker just a little bit. Can I bring down Josh Jacobs' ownership to somebody else without greatly impacting projection? I think I can. So here's the comparison point. We've got Bucky Irving at 18.9. We've got Josh Jacobs at 19.4. We're just going to swap out 0.4 of a fantasy point, and we're going to cut that ownership in half from 30s to 15. Now we basically have the same projection, but a lot less ownership. This should be the one we're looking for, and this is how you should be using the single lineup sim. So make sure you're signing up using the link in the description. Look at that. I talked my way right into a 110 sim ROI, 0.4% chance to win, 44% cash rate. You can't stick the landing any better than that. I'm like Kerry Strug when it comes to single lineup simulators. That's how good it is. First lineup, remix. Second, third, remix again. They're all incredible. This might just be the best perfect lineup we've done all year. Week 13 giveaway. You had to get Jacoby Brissett, and 26 of you got it right. So kudos, everybody. The wheel is spinning. Now, if you see your name pop up, take a screenshot when it does. Email support@stokastic.com. That is how you claim your prize. And it's D-Stob. If this is you, do exactly what I just said. Congratulations.